A little bit early right now for anybody that shows up here. I'm going to be going live with John Wilburn at 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. Eastern. So I'm just hanging out right now, just getting everything situated, getting comfortable, letting people show up. We're going to be talking about a pretty fun event coming up called the No Name Nationals. So if you are here right now, sit tight. Come back in 15 minutes, whatever you want to do. We'll be starting at 5 p.m. But I'm just hanging out. If you want to chat, pop over into the chat, and we can talk for a few minutes. That's cool too. I don't know if you guys saw it. We did like a 3-hour live yesterday with myself, a bunch of folks. Side Road, what's up, buddy? Good to have you here. Unfinished project. That's like a story of my life. Yeah, man, all good. I actually this morning we had a tsunami warning because of that volcano that went off, and I was like, "Oh, great, a tsunami. That's all I need. More reason for me to move to Texas. No tsunamis in Texas." My wife is like, "That's crazy. It's a volcano." And I was like, "Yeah, we live by, more more volcanoes." Pat, what's up, buddy? It's good to be back, man. Um, you know, just trying to stay positive. The show must go on, and doing these lives and talking to my friends and everybody that shows up is something I really enjoy. So, healthy distractions. You know what I mean? Has anybody been following the auctions lately? I have not gotten to see any of them myself. I haven't watched them, but some of the prices I'm hearing, insane. I was talking about it yesterday on the live. I can't believe what I'm hearing. Some of these Mopars are going for A bodies in the mid 5 figures. That's insane. Um, but hey, I guess that's the day and age we live in. But I don't know. I don't know who in here follows Mopars 5150, but they're having a giant sale on muscle cars. And granted, a lot of them are really full on, full blown project cars, but some of the prices, I mean, reasonable. Um, Paul, what's up, buddy? Yes, the fake macho was absolutely insane. Rich do get richer. It is absolutely nuts. Terry, what's up, buddy? I am looking forward to it as well. Time is it? We got about 10 minutes. John should be here in a little bit. We'll check his sound, and then we'll get into the event. I don't know what everybody's end of summer is shaping up to be like, but I have so many events that I would like to get to this year. I just don't know how everything's going to fall in line. But the event that we're talking about tonight is one that I would like to try to make. I just have to see. There's so many events in like the September, October, um, and August, days that it's going to be really tight. So I got to figure out what I can make happen. Yeah, Pat. The Mopars 5150 guys, Troy and Tony and all them, very reasonable prices for what they got. And, those guys aren't stupid. They know exactly what the cars are worth, and people will buy them. For every, 100 people you get that say, "Oh, these prices are insane," there's one insane guy that just has the money, disposable income. That's what we call those. I have no idea. I would love to find out. Um, Yeah. So let me ask you guys this. Maybe you guys can tell me. So in Mopar VIN numbers, like a Challenger, for instance, JHJS. Okay. When it comes to the super stock darts and Barracudas, the dart specifically, is it LO? Because that's how most VINs are with Mopars. It's the second digit is always a letter. Or is it a number? Because I've seen it both ways. I would always lean towards the letter. but I've seen some pretty I don't know, well trusted publications and online sites that refer to it as L0. I would like clarification on that. That's what I thought. That's what I thought, but I've seen some pretty questionable, like, is it a number? I didn't know if that was something special because it was a super stock or what, but you know, I assumed it was a letter. And I think I did an episode. Oh, I know I did an episode on the super stock cars early on in the podcast, and I think I remember um saying L0, which would be wrong. Um, so I'm not quite sure, but I would lean towards letter. I have to go back and listen to that podcast. If I did say number, I'm surprised nobody emailed me and told me that I screwed up. Uh, that would be something that I would expect. Paul, what's up, buddy? Yeah, I really do lean towards the letter for obvious reasons, but I have seen. I wish I could. Let me see if I can just pull this up really quick. Go to our good friends at Google. They can be trusted, right? um, super stock dart. Let's see here. I know I saw it somewhere. I would have to go through this and look, but I see it mostly as LO, which makes sense to me, and I think that's what everybody else would fall in line with. But I saw it. What website was that? They could have very well have been wrong, but I just wanted clarification because if it was a street car or something, I would totally understand letter, but because it is a yeah okay. So here's one. Street Muscle Magazine says L0, production code L023. But, they could have easily have made the mistake as well. Let's just see if I type in L023, what comes up. Because I agree with everybody that said LO. Here's another one, L0. What website is this? rmw.lv. What the hell is that? Yeah, these guys say L02, and they might not know what they're talking about as well. But I thought I saw it on a prominent Mopar website. But I'm going to go ahead and say LO. Mopar Den. What's up, buddy? I too hope to one day have a Mopar Den. Does anybody know where I can see BO29? Yeah, for the Barracuda. I'm trying to find the results to this Mecum auction. Mecum auction results. Let's find out what that car went for. It's kind of scary when you think about how much these cars are going for now. 2022 top 10. Wow, lots of $1 million+ cars. Wow. Gotta watch time here. We got 3 minutes. I gotta log in. I don't have a login for Mecum, so I guess I won't find out. Let me see. Mecum 23. Super stock dart. It's 2020, 2019. Here we go. It's the yellow one, right? It says it's estimated to go for 300 to 350, but yeah, it's a cool car. I'm not sure. I don't know about the yellow, but hey, it's a badass car no matter what. It says it's sold. I don't see a. It should say what it hammered for, right? I don't see anything here. Why? Why would they not just show you how much it sold for? I guess they want you to watch. $275. That's considering that was it a 70 or 71 340 Duster fully restored went for like 60 or 65. And for a cool 200 more, you can get a super stock Dart. Seems like a deal to me. 360 Valiant, what's up, buddy? It is a going. Paul says, I heard there was a GLH Omni at Mecum. That's cool. I like seeing those cars get love. Yeah, it sounds like the market's hot right now, which is it's crazy considering, the times we're living in. I guess people are I don't know what it is, but when A bodies are fetching that kind of money, I've posted really clean A bodies for 25 or 30 back when Talking Mopars was operating as the Mopar Hunter primarily, and people were going nuts over the 25, 30,000, $40,000 A bodies. 10 grill. Still, aside from the Mecum truck, 10 grills, in my opinion, are still a good buy. As far as a Mopar project goes, I see quite a bit of them. Go for reasonable prices. It's 5 o'clock. John should be showing up any minute. How many of you? I know a lot of the YouTube guys have heard. How many of the Facebook guys have heard of the No Name Nationals? It's an event that John Wilburn has organized for YouTube content creators. How many of you guys have heard of this? That's what we're talking about today. It should be an interesting event. If you have 500 or more followers or subscribers, then you can participate in this event. Now, you can go and be a spectator, and they will make special exceptions for people with less than 500 subscribers. I'm curious to see how many people and who shows up. What's up, Ruben? Gonna be a fun one today. Mopar Den is hoping to attend. That's cool. Well, you're hearing about it here, and I think it's going to be a cool event. I like the blue collar events. Reynaldo, what's up, buddy? 360, yeah. Michael, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Yes, sir. The podcast is back. Mopar Den says, I'd just love to see Bottle Rocket versus Casper race there. Yeah. I'm interested to see what content creators show up and who calls who out. It should be interesting, Spencer's never heard of the event. I don't know how much you've been catching it. Hopefully John gets in here soon and we can talk a little bit more about it. The No Name Nationals is an event that John Wilburn has organized in Sikeston, Missouri at Jeffers Raceway Park to have basically YouTube content creators with 500 or more subscribers battle it out on the drag strip. Thanks, Ruben. It's not as cool. I like my setup back here, but it would be way cooler to do in the garage. But my garage is so small, I don't have enough room to set up something cool. But I will once the van cave, the podcast van is set up. I'll probably do some podcasts from in there because what you see here with the van cave, it's going to be a mobile podcast studio slash my hotel room for when I hit the road. And I kind of want to give it, you know, a studio slash, man cave vibe. So hence the term van cave. So it should be pretty cool. We'll see. Unfinished project says, I'm sure it'll be packed, but not with all the long distance hopefuls. Yeah, that's, man, it's tough. I hope that a lot of people show up, but the problem is there's so many cool events going on, in roughly the same time that people are going to have to make some tough decisions. I know I'm going to have to make some tough decisions. For one, I don't have that much time off work. So when I go to some of these events, it's literally a get off work on Friday, head right to the airport and fly out and then fly back Sunday night. So, it's tough flying out for these events. If I could attend every event, I would. I I don't make that much money at my day job to make that possible and pay my mortgage, Mike asks what's up with the van. The van. So I was having a big problem with storage because I have all these parts for the van. I've got 4 Ram Charger bucket seats. I've got the full flare kit. Um, Now I've got the side pipes, and my garage is pretty small. So I was running out of room. So I was using the van as storage. Well, I need to prep the interior of the van because it has a lot of scale rust on the roof from when it had interior. The roof vent was leaking and it was causing a bunch of moisture. And I need to get that all sanded down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand all the rust inside the van. I'm going to prime it, and then I'm likely going to put like a rhino lining over it, but I have to make sure it's 100% sealed and that the rust won't, continue underneath that rhino line. I'll call it rhino lining, but I'm just going to use some off the shelf stuff. I'm not going to go have it rhino lined or anything like that. And then I'm going to put some kill mat up, and then I haven't decided what I want to do for walls yet, but I have to keep in mind that acoustically, like you can see some of the sound treatment that I have up on the walls in here. I need to treat it acoustically so that it sounds okay. I don't want it to sound like I'm recording from a bathtub. You know what I mean? So I have to take that in consideration. Part of it will be carpeted. But I'm still tossing those ideas around. But I took over another room in my house, and it's full of van parts now. So the van is completely um, ready to have the interior done. I do have a new, or a new to me, aluminum intake to put on it, and a new Holly 4 barrel to hopefully get it running a little better. It's running a little rough, but it's been tuned up, so it needs to be timed and all that fun stuff. But the van, um, later on, I actually plan on going down there and working on it. It's going to be a fun project, that's for sure. Yeah, man, I feel like I've hyped myself up a little bit too much for the van. 'Cause I call it a shit box with love, but it is not a perfect van, but it is a really cool. Um, it's a brown with like a almost like a gold metallic flake in it. It's just a really cool color once you rub it a little bit with some compound and actually see it, because it was sitting in Spokane, which is on the eastern side of Washington State, which is really dry climate, and it's sun beaten. So I need to yeah, vandemonium. I need to hit the outside of it. I have some detail equipment that I'm going to use on it. I used to detail cars, so I've just been lazy with it. I need to clay bar the whole thing, and then it's single stage paint. So what I plan on doing is just doing your basic compound um, buff and polish is basically what I'm going to do to it, and see if we can bring it out a little bit. Wilburn, there he is. Yeah, damn tech problems. It's all good, man. I'll be waiting. Mike says get motivated. I'm super motivated. Quasi technology problem. Ruben says the van sounds epic. Great idea with the mobile podcast. Yeah. I do have the ability to record from events. The idea was to eventually go to events and have a booth where I have merch and stuff, and be able to podcast live from these events, and walk around the show, and um do content like that, but also be like, hey, I'll be at the van recording later if you want to hang out. Hopefully no one will be creeped out by that. But it'll be a situation where you're sitting in the van and everything's open, but since it's a little bit more of a controlled environment than open air, hopefully the sound quality will be a little bit better. But the idea was that there would be, since I have a big single rear door, I want a way to swing a television screen out so you can see different camera angles and stuff. I still have to figure out exactly how I'm going to do it, but I want the mic, the boom arms for the microphone. I want these to be able to stow away up in the ceiling and come down as at will when I want to. The front buckets are on swivels, so I'll be able to swivel those. The idea would be to be able to get like 4 people in the van. If I wanted to podcast from in the van, I think that would be cool. But we'll see. It's a crazy idea, but going to all these events, traveling, especially the local events, I thought would be cool to do in in a podcast van. Nobody at any automotive events that I've seen has showed up in a boogie van to podcast from it live. So hopefully nobody steals my idea and does it before me. That'd piss me off, but you know how that goes. Tall John, what's up, buddy? Side road. I would love to make it up to the Northeast. That'd be fun. You guys have a lot of cool projects up there. They're rusted like a mother, but definitely cool. Thank you, sir. I love these lives. And my buddy Ruben, Muscle City Madness. I know how many people we got. So we got a handful of people, a couple handfuls of people from Facebook. I don't know how much you guys in the Facebook world hang out on YouTube, but there's a really cool community over in YouTube. A couple of my friends that I'll mention, Muscle City Madness, that's Ruben. He's got an awesome 69 Roadrunner, and he does insane lives. Ruben will go live for 7 hours. And our buddy Brian, Dust Devil Garage, is another channel. So go follow both of those guys, subscribe to their channels, and enjoy their content. A lot of fun. Tall John in the house. Yeah, who's all going to Sikeston, huh? It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna try to make it. I hate to commit to events when I don't know 100% for sure if I'm gonna make it, but it is definitely an event that is on my prioritized list. There's, like I said, there's so many in that 2 or 3 window block of time that I really have to figure out which ones I can make it to. It's getting to the point where I need to talk to my day job and see if I can take short-term leaves of absence to cover some of these events, because there's there's Carlisle, there's the Mopar Nationals, there's SEMA. I like going to SEMA. SEMA's fun. I went there for the first time this past year, and although it's not Mopar centric, it's still fun just to see all the crazy builds and stuff, even though some of them really aren't my cup of tea. It's just interesting to see what people come up with and the new products. That was really cool. But then you got muscle cars at the Strip. I'll be going to that in March. That's an event that I'm already booked for. I've got the plane tickets, I've got the hotel reserved, I got the rental car, I got the wide body Scat Pack rental car. So that's a definite go-to for me. So if you're on the West Coast or close to Vegas, or you want to go hang out in Vegas and look at a bunch of cool cars, watch some racing, some autocross, and check out a car show, it's one of those events where you pay an entry fee and you get it all. And it was really cool because you see cars like Dominator on Street Outlaws. He was there with his Dart. That was a car I always wanted to see in person, and there it was, and I got to see it run. So that was a lot of fun. You really can't with those cars. I mean, I'm sure everybody in this chat has been to a quarter mile or an eighth mile drag racing event. It's totally different than what you're watching on TV. You just don't get the same feeling. And if you've ever gone to an event where they got nitro cars, and alcohol dragsters and stuff like that, it's, man, some of those cars, they the rumble from their engines reverberates or it shakes your whole body, your eardrums shake. I love that. If I'm going to go deaf, it's going to be from loud cars at tracks. Get back up in this chat here. Lots of people showed up tonight. Side road, I definitely picture the van doors opening and smoke spilling out, and the motley crew of Mopars hopping out in slow motion at a show. Uh, it would have to be water vapor smoke. We're all sober, with the exception of maybe a little bit of alcohol. All legal substances. SLM Speed Shop in the house. What's up, buddy? Tall John says his Barracuda is still unfinished, so he'll probably bring the Roadrunner out to the No Name Nationals, which for everybody that showed up, that's what we're talking about here today. As soon as John Wilburn gets his tech issues figured out, he's going to jump on, and we're going to bring some information about the No Name Nationals to more people, because I think most of the people that know about it right now are in the YouTube space. So we're going to try to bring it out into the Facebook space a little bit. Brian, Dust Devil Garage, make sure you go subscribe. Like I said earlier, another crazy lunatic doing long lives. I love them. They're fun. Mike, how much for a shirt? If you're talking to me, you can go to talkingmopars.com and go to the merch tab, and let's see. Share this quick while we wait for John. Let's see here. So if you go to the Talking Mopars website, you can. This is if you want to listen to the podcast. This is the best place to go and find all the places to listen. Over here on the right side, I'm looking at a computer. I think it's a little bit different on a phone, but you can see all the different links to the different places where you can list or listen to the podcast. And I'm on pretty much every platform there is. And then you can see all the episodes and whatnot. But at the very top, you have the merch shop. So there's a bunch of products I need to bring into the merch shop, but this is what I've got so far. I've got a mug for you coffee drinkers. T-shirt with a large logo is $22.99 plus shipping. I have Talking Mopars stickers. If you went to the duct tape drags, you might have seen Johnny Mopar rocking the shirt and the stickers on his car. Another mug. This is another one of my T-shirts. It's the Ratty Bird T-shirt with the Super Bird that I photoshopped. So my dream car, Super Bird on Craigers. This shirt is $23.99. It's a 2 logo shirt. You get the small logo on the front, big logo on the back. My favorite shirt, the No Mopar Left Behind shirt. So if you don't want to walk around representing the podcast, you can represent a very cool way of life. No Mopar Left Behind. And although I'm against a lot of this garbage here, I do have Talking Mopars neck gaiters. I made those for me. So when I go to events, but I haven't ordered one yet. I need to get one for this year. Also, No Mopar Left Behind stickers. Like I said, if you don't want to represent the podcast sticker, that's cool. It does say No Mopar Left Behind on it, but I do have this guy right here. It is a little deceptive because it looks like a giant bumper sticker. It's kind of smaller. So perfect for like the corner of a window. And then another Talking Mopar shirt for $22.99. So less than $25. And then, of course, pay for shipping or whatever. I just upload the designs. I don't deal with the printing or shipping. The company that you will be purchasing and ordering through will provide the shipping and customer service. Okay, let's get that off screen. Lunar Outlaws Garage in the house. What's up? Dylan in the house. I didn't realize that was you for a minute there, buddy. Yeah, we were up till pretty late last night podcasting. That's just how it goes. We were talking about it. It's funny because you'll be looking at the clock or whatever, going, okay, getting a little tired. maybe shut it down, and then someone else will jump in, and then the conversations are always fun. So it's like you always end up running a little bit long. See, this is this is the great part about YouTube that I didn't realize, that community that just you know shows up in droves. That's really cool. I'm really excited to be on YouTube now. I can't wait to start. I have to figure out what kind of exclusive content I want to put on YouTube. Bear Rose Garage, what's up? Dylan, the easiest. Well, we'll have to talk after the show. I don't want to bore a bunch of people, but I use a company called Spring. It used to be called Teespring. You go on there, you upload your designs, and you can create merch shops. And I believe you can, if you purchase a custom URL, you can have, www.slmspeedshop.com. And then you go there and it's just all the merch and stuff that you offer. So go check out, I think spring.com is where you can go. Yeah, spring.com. Oh, no, I was wrong. It may still be under Teespring. That is. Okay. So the company is Spring, but it still operates as teespring.com. That's TEE, or two E's and then spring.com. It's if you have a YouTube channel, I know that there's YouTube integration, so you can get your merch and stuff on YouTube relatively easily. They have all sorts. I haven't even really scratched the surface with the type of products they offer. They offer all sorts of stuff, keychains, stuff like that. I just haven't had the time to really get into it. But a bunch of cool merch is coming. So yeah, Dylan, go to teespring.com, TEE spring.com. Saturday night. Who's in the garage right now? Who's listening or watching from the garage working on a project? That's where I should be right now. I actually might, I don't know, maybe somebody else is going live later and I can just jump on their live. But Ruben, I've done a couple lives from out in the garage. For me, it's hard to focus on what I'm doing, the task at hand, without checking out the chat, which is funny because on these, I'm horrible about, keeping up with the chat when I'm talking to somebody on screen and it's something that I really want to work on, but you just can't. It's tough to break that conversation. So for anybody that's commenting in the chat, just notice that I do see it, and at some point during the show, whether it be in the middle or at the end, I will acknowledge you. John Wilburn is in the house, so let's get this show on the road. Bring John on screen here. John, what's
Howdy. Up? So, when you have an 8 p.m. appointment, the best time for a computer crash? 7:47. I couldn't have timed that worse. So, sorry. Wasn't trying to hold people in the queue. I knew you'd hold the fort, but man, I hate being late. And it's the way it goes.
Yeah, I've been in that situation so many times. I learned that even showing up early, something bad happens.
It's one of those things. If you're running 15 minutes early, you'll get a flat tire on the way.
Yeah,
but it's just that it was just one of those kind of days all the way around. We had a computer crash at 7:47. I'm like, this is not happening, right? So I was just about to go to Plan B and take my camera down and put my iPhone and the iPad. I said, okay, what's going to take longer, this thing to run all these updates and stuff, or to go to backup? So I stayed the course and maybe late. So right before this, I was getting some work done, and I'm sharing videos for the No Name Nationals, and I made an embarrassing typo on one, and the poster caught it. I fixed that, but it's just been one of those days that we've, But it's a labor of love doing this for the No Name Nationals. But man, it was been a crazy day.
Yeah, man. Back in high school, to graduate high school, you have to have a senior project, and I chose to do a car show. And just a car show in a high school parking lot was a ginormous pain in the ass. So I can't even imagine what, especially with all the legalities involved. Because, of course, I think, hey, just invite a bunch of people to a high school parking lot. There's your car show. Oh, no, you need insurance because it's on school grounds. And,
right.
thousands of dollars. Like, some people just don't understand what it really takes to organize these
Oh
events.
goodness.
Even
Oh,
small
goodness.
events like a car show in a high school parking lot. I mean, it was, gosh, a full year of planning, organizing, fundraising, and all that. So I don't envy anybody that takes on the task of creating an event that's, for the community. So thank you.
It's a good learning experience. I'm getting to learn a lot of the stuff that Dallas is really familiar with, all of the dealings with the racetracks and that kind of thing, and it's interesting. So I'm learning
Yeah.
that side of this, and Dallas is getting to learn a lot more of the YouTube and the personalities and the kind of things they want and that kind of stuff. So it's a good experience for both of us. We're learning the stuff that we wouldn't have otherwise.
No, absolutely. Everybody in the chat, just to make sure, can you hear John and myself well? I just want to make sure that everybody's good to go. I think you guys can.
Yes.
Um, just to make sure, because much like how annoying it is when you get a typo and you have to go in and fix it. I hate when I record a whole show and I realize that I selected the wrong mic, and the microphone that is recording is the webcam mic, and my podcast sounds like garbage. It annoys me, so I have to double check, triple check now just to make sure. Perfect. I guess we're good to go. John?
Yeah, I mean, I can hear you.
Perfect. So for all the folks that are joining us from Facebook, they may not know who you are because you're not on Facebook. You're a YouTube guy. So why don't you tell the people that are watching from Facebook and that will be listening to this later who you are?
Yeah, they're staying loud
and
and
what you do.
clear, but I do have a little bit of feedback on my end, and I don't have any browser tabs open.
Interesting. Hold on one second. Let me make sure it's not me.
No, it's probably not. It's probably on my end.
Okay. Yeah. Sometimes my Wi-Fi here is, or even my Ethernet is a little wishy-washy sometimes. So sometimes I get a delay. But everybody in the chat sounds good. Okay. All right. Let's roll with it. John, who are you? Who's
Let me
John
let
Wilburn?
myself from back in. Maybe that'll help.
Okay. Sounds good. You guys in the chat, who's got the delay, me or him? Brian's in the shop trying to stay warm. You got a long road to Sikeston ahead of you, buddy. I imagine there's going to be some long nights and long days in that shop. I think it might be John. And we're back to one. Okay, cool. It must be on John's end then. Sometimes that happens. But he is back. We'll get him back on screen.
Yeah, I'll try this again. I'm sure it's on my end. I suspect I've been working my machine too hard today, and I'm sure that's what it is. So first thing, you know we've got a date change on this event. I keep my counter right here. So we got to cross off the 222. We're going to be adding about 35 days.
Okay.
We're moving back a few weeks. We're going to have the announcement tomorrow, 3 p.m. here on my channel. So we're going to talk about the date, why it had to move, and all that stuff. I'll be live with Dallas to discuss that. But it's unavoidable. And so there were several options. We took the least bad one. And so we said we will keep the venue, move the date. The weather will be better. So there's always going to be things that are better for some people, not as good for others. That's the nature of making a change like this. I can say the weather should be nicer. It'll be still nice and warm a few weeks later. Instead of being 100 degrees, it may be 80. So it'll be good, but it's not what you want to do. You don't want to light the fuse on a cannon of publicity and then have to get all the toothpaste back in the tube. But that's what we've been doing for 2 days.
Wow. I definitely don't envy that. How many people do you have registered for the event right now?
We have a handful. We probably have a dozen registered, but there's a whole lot of people who've already made their videos and commitments and everything. They just haven't gone to the cart yet. And I've had to pause that for a couple of days because of this snafu. If it weren't for that, we would have a lot more.
Mostly
we have some big names registered though. I mean, we've got some pretty big channels already registered, a lot of big call outs. Unity Motorsports Garage, Uncle Tony's Garage, Just Mopar Joe. We got a lot of people pre-registered for this, and a lot of others just have not gone there yet. They'll be able to tomorrow. They'll be able to register.
Where are people supposed to go to register?
So I'm going to reopen the cart tomorrow. Once I get confirmation, it'll be nonamenationals.com. That sends them directly to registration.
Okay. For people that may be just joining us or listening to the show and didn't listen last night, or maybe aren't in the YouTube world, tell us about the No Name Nationals, what the event's going to entail, and all the fun details that everybody's going to be asking, all the frequently asked questions.
Hey, all the people just tuning in, they missed a good show. Miss for me. The No Name Nationals. So a lot of people have said, well, there should be a meetup. There should be a meetup for YouTubers, a meetup for our group at the track. And I've heard this for years and years and years. Well, I said, well, let's make this happen. Let's make this happen. So the first phone call I made was to Dallas Brown, president of the AHRA. Perfect strategic partner to do this with. He's been wonderful to work with. And we figured out the best track, the best everything to make this happen. And I got to tell you, I was concerned about Sikeston because of where it is. Dallas said, no, middle of the country. I said, yeah, but the population's not in the middle of the country. But that location people have really embraced. And I think the track itself is great. It's going to work good for what we want to do. So we've had that. Then we said, okay, this needs to be for YouTube content creators. So we set a minimum threshold of 500 subscribers just so that the participants they've had skin in the game, and they have invested some of themselves in making a channel that people will follow, right? And it kind of separates the doers and the dreamers a little bit. And dreamers are good, okay? But if they get out there and do it, then they'll have a bona fide channel and that kind of thing. That's what we're looking for. I said, these guys are going to make the show. We just need to provide the venue and organize it and get them together. And I'm sure they will. I bet you the burnout contest we have will rival anything done anywhere ever, because these are YouTubers, right? If they come out and blow something up, it's a success. They get content. So we knew the concept was going to be popular, and the response has been overwhelming.
What as far, I'm sure people are going to ask, hey, is there prize money involved? Is there trophies, awards?
Well,
what can we expect?
There's certainly going to be trophies. Okay. So I got a trophy like this from a friend of mine for putting cab mounts in his truck. Okay. We'll have trophies probably sort of like this. We're going to have an award for the biggest oil down. We're going to have an award for the biggest wheel stand. We'll have a lowest ET award. We'll have an award for, I can't believe that made it here. So the vehicle that just shocks everybody actually made it here. We're going to have an award for that. We're going to have the Cinderella Award. The Cinderella Award is going to be for that channel that needed 500 subs, and they ground and they worked and they shared their content and they got there. So the most inspiring story or whatever of that group, and we have several, is going to win the Cinderella Award. And so after we get this set up, again, this is a new category. It's a first-year event. I'm going to be probably looking for some sponsors and such as time goes on. So if we can add things that kind of improve things and raise the stakes and whatnot along the way, great.
That's awesome, man. This is a 8th mile track or quarter mile? I've never been to Jeffers.
It's an 8th mile track. Okay. It's owned by Larry Jeffers, and he builds chassis. He's in the pro mod scene. So this is one of those really good, well-prepped 8th mile tracks like they have the pro mod races and stuff at. So it should be a really good venue.
Now, I'm one of those weirdos who looks at crazy things for sale. And one thing that I often look at is tracks for sale.
Right.
And is it still for sale?
Yeah, he's had it for sale off and on. As with any real estate transaction, your pre-existing contracts would come with the sale.
Sure.
Okay. So we're good on the date if there is a new owner. So there's always a transition and a plan. You could never sell a racetrack in the middle of the season and void all the dates. It would never work. And a new owner wouldn't want that anyway.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So we're good there. But yeah, he's got it for sale. Who knows? Maybe this event will bring somebody out that says, hey, I'd like to own this place after it's over. Who knows?
A couple times a year, I always check drag strips for sale to see if there's any in a place that I want to move to, and it's a reasonable price. I mean, it's less than $1 million to get yourself an 8 mile track.
I think he had it at 800K
Yeah,
last I saw.
yeah.
So yeah,
More than in my opinion, more than reasonable. I've seen some crazy tracks go for millions of dollars, but it's definitely something that I look at for fun just to see what's out there for sale. And I thought that is when we started talking about it, I was like, ah, that sounds familiar. But I look at so much stuff that I had to check again, and I was like, oh my god, it is the one that's for sale. I was like, oh, that makes things a little interesting, but that's cool that it won't affect. And I wouldn't expect it to, but definitely interesting when a track is for sale, because dreamers like myself, speaking of doing and dreaming, I probably won't be buying a racetrack, but I will be dreaming about owning one.
hey, you're a doer. You had an idea for a podcast, and then you made one. That's
True.
cool.
Podcast a little easier.
This event has inspired people to get with it. There's guys going out in 7 and 8 degree weather working on their stuff, getting ready for this event. So that just thrills me.
Yeah, I had a guy that reached out to me this morning who was saying that he would love to participate, but he's only got 7 subscribers. And I was like, oh well, start making content. And he starts
to go.
Check this out. He starts listing all the cars he has, and the list. I'm like, dude, if you did one video on each of those cars, right keywords, you're in, dude.
You got it.
Yeah, it's always interesting when events like this happen. Not like this specifically, obviously, because this is a first of its kind. But when people get psyched up for something, like Crazy Brian from Dust Devil Garage building a car from the ground, a shell.
He's got his work cut out for him.
He's got his work cut out for him, but I'm rooting for him. I can't wait to see what happens with that and all the call outs that are going to be happening. Is there a platform where people can see these call outs and things like that?
Yes, so public. These are all content creators. That's the participants. So they're doing it on their channels. Cool. Now, I've asked them, and I'm asking anybody watching this, hashtag your video No Name Nationals, because that will help people find it. And then when I find them, I share them. And then if I'm doing my job right, I don't mess up the tags on them like I did the last one I shared. But no, I'm trying to share everything. I'm trying to get it in the community tab on my channel so that when people have videos related to the No Name Nationals, we get them there. So my channel's practically turned into a news feed for this thing. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's good information to know, because for a guy like me that, dabbles in YouTube, I didn't even know there was a community tab on YouTube. So I'm still learning all this stuff. And I know that the people on Facebook are probably, some of them anyway, are going, wow, there's a community on Facebook or on YouTube. That's crazy. So definitely go check that out. And, like John was saying, there's so many content creators involved with this that there's going to be content out the wazoo leading up to this event.
Oh, yeah. All kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
There's going to be, the racing is great. We may have enough call out exhibition stuff to just load up a day with that. We're going to have the monkey bike challenge. It's a monkey bike challenge. If you've ever been to Tractor Supply, I think they're nationwide, but it's a store that sells, farm and feed stuff and all. And they have these little miniature Coleman bikes. They're about the smallest bike that a grown person can ride, and they're cheap, right? And anyway, we have a class just for the Coleman 100 CTU, I think is the number on it. And we have a few rules to keep people from turning them into motorcycles. Okay. We don't want anybody making 150 mile an hour. These are like Shriner bikes. Okay. We don't want anybody doing that. We don't want anybody changing the gears. Again, we just got to keep it safe. But other than some minimal rules, go wild. We don't care what you do to it. So the monkey bike challenge is for people who want to get in on that. It's all in good fun. And again, we'll be looking for a sponsor for the monkey bike challenge. So we're going to have some fun with that.
That's awesome. And I know that we're talking about this on Talking Mopars, but it is open to all vehicles?
Oh, of course. We've got a lot of Fords coming, a lot of Chevys. All makes are coming already. Import guys, anything's welcome. If it has an engine or motor, because we live in this electric car age and people want to come there and bring the hate, that's fine. So engine / motor and wheels, bring it.
Awesome. What a ton of fun. How many people, just so that we can get an idea of, limited space, How
Right.
many people can register for this event?
Should be about 550 to 600, somewhere right in that neighborhood. That's about
Okay.
what we can get on participant registration. And then
Okay.
spectators, it's going to be whatever the fire marshal would allow. So
Yeah.
we'll deal with that problem. If we have so many spectators that we have to close the gates, that'd be a great problem to have. But
Yeah.
I'm not, we'll just see what happens there. But I'm anticipating spectators wanting to come out and meet their favorite content creators, because we're going to have more YouTube automotive content creators in one spot than has ever been assembled before.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely is going to be interesting. And I know that the question was asked before, but I know that some people are just tuning in, just finding out about this event through this podcast. It's a prep track.
Oh, yes, a well
Yeah.
prepped track. I mean, I know no prep is the rage and all that, but you know what? Come run on a prep track. See
Yeah.
what the vehicle can do. Get some 60-foot action.
Yeah, that'll be good. And so we're looking at an event for content creators. You have to have a minimum of 500 subscribers. What if a
Yes.
guy like me goes, John, I really want to participate in this event. I've got 495 subscribers.
If you can't find 5 subscribers before today, no, the idea is that we just want to set the bar there to encourage people to make it happen. If we had somebody who started with 7 and they've made a new video every week and they have 495, you really think we want to keep that person out?
Hell no.
I think what would happen is that we could shoot a video that says, hey, it's the morning of, we're about to open the gates. I'll subscribe to this guy. He'll get his subs. So I think anybody who puts forth the effort is going to get it.
I think a good sponsor for this event may be GoPro. I think GoPro.
Maybe. I mean, one thing is I would love to see the grassroots sponsors come out, since these are the grassroots content creators, and people who have they work in the space and the business, but they're the mom and pop type machine shops. These kind of people, I think they'd make great sponsors. But again, we're going to look at that as time goes on. It's a brand new category. There's nothing that carries over from a last year, because it's never been done before. So everything we're doing here is fresh. So we have to engage sponsors, and I'm having to do things in a sequence. So right now, we're getting our registration set back up tomorrow. We're going to have that explanation video and take questions. Dallas and I will. And then back full speed ahead doing the registration. And every day I have a few new registrations trickle in. I have a lot of email inquiries. And we've had channels inquire everywhere from 5 subscribers to 800,000 and everywhere in between. So some big channels that are interested, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome. And the idea is to make it sell out so that we can have a second annual No Name Nationals, correct?
Right. We want to sell it out, but put everything into this event, because we don't want to think, well, I'll catch the next one. If this one doesn't go over, there's not a next one. So let's make this one happen like it's the only one there is. Let's put on the show of shows.
I fully expect it to be a success. I know that with some annual shows, let's just say that it is a success and we expect it to be, and you are going to do it next year. Are you going to try to aim for the same time frame, or is this still up in the air?
It's up in the air, but we'll see. Next year, if we do something next year, we have some advantages, because we'll have a year behind us. It gives us a big head start on everything that we couldn't have any head start on this year. It's going to give us a little bit more leverage with tracks and things like that. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. We'll see how it goes with the time of year. We'll see how it goes with the track. All you can do is see how the first one goes and then go from there.
How long have you been preparing for this event? From concept to, execution?
How do you even answer that? This is one of these things that you probably thought has been a good idea for years.
Yeah.
But I got serious about working on this probably about August.
Okay.
That's probably when I really started putting pen to paper and working this through. And we've been working on it ever since, with the idea of being a New Year's Eve announcement. And then in Dallas, of course, he had COVID, so we had to back the announcement up a few days. Then right after the announcement, we have the date snafu. So we've been battling a few little problems here with it, but I think we're going to get through these just fine. And come tomorrow, everything's going to be running smooth again, and we'll just keep registering people. And the enthusiasm is really high. It's stayed really high. the response has actually kind of surprised me. It's more than I thought it was going to be.
That's great. I'm gonna stay optimistic and assume that there's gonna be a second one. Is Jeffers gonna be like the home for No Name Nationals moving forward?
We'll see. We'll see how this one goes.
Okay.
See how much they want it the next year. See how much people want to go back there. See if we outgrow it. There's a lot of ifs in that.
Sure.
But anything is possible. It is kind of in the middle of the country. I like that. And I didn't make it close to me. So I didn't do anything self-serving. It's a long haul for me. It would take an entire day of driving for me to get there.
Are you going to be participating in this event?
I'm probably going to be too busy to be racing.
Sure.
So the only I may participate on the show that makes the purists cringe. That's possible. But more than likely, I'm going to be roving around making sure this runs as smoothly as possible for all the participants, because this thing is about you guys. So if I help you guys make this successful, that's what it's all about.
Awesome. Yeah, I was seeing some questions in the comments about location, and then one. Let me see if I can find it here. Mostly old parts and rust. Says he's worried about the date. I don't know. You're going to share the new date tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll have the new date tomorrow.
Okay.
We're just backing it up a few weeks, but I want concrete confirmation on that first thing in the morning.
Okay.
Scheduled our live, and then the idea there is that way we don't want to have any other date out there. We don't want any confusion. We just want to be sure before we announce. So out of an abundance of precaution, we're going to announce that tomorrow. But I've already got the card updated, the flyer updated, everything. I'm just waiting on the 100% back in writing thing from Dallas before I send it live.
Yeah. As a content creator myself, I find myself seeing, I get excited for the new events, and I just look at the list of events that I want to attend, and it's so crazy. I always say, the more the merrier. But this is an event that I'm really looking forward to, mostly because I'm such a proponent for content creators. I like the blue collar underdog type of guy. But like you said, there's been some big channels out there that have been reaching out that are pretty excited about it. So if you're a smaller channel and you're looking at some of these big channels, like, oh man, I bet I could beat that car. This is your opportunity to put your money where your mouth is.
This is your chance. We have a lot of very well-known creators. I want to be sure. I don't want to announce anybody who's not pre-registered. Some people who are pre-registered, I'm glad to announce. Just Mopar Joe. I'm actually wearing the JMJ colors today. But we have a lot of well-known content creators that are going to be there. And what I plan to do is because we have several months into the future, we're going to be doing, more lives, more videos, some commercials, and then we can talk about creators who have signed up as we go.
Yeah,
that's cool. The idea.
So for anybody that wants to stay up to date on that, check out John's channel, which is John Wilburn. Very, very easy to find. And hopefully there will be a lot of call outs on there. It would be a lot easier to have a central location where we can see, who's going to be showing up and stuff like that. So I believe yesterday we were talking about that a little bit, where we'll be able to have that location that we can go to, which is your channel and the community over there, to keep track of who's going to show up so you can watch their content and stuff like that.
Sure. That's how you're going to ultimately keep up with this, if you are a content creator, please let the viewers know, hey, we got an entry for the No Name Nationals. Just today, Duddy's Adventure put out a video that he's doing a build for the No Name Nationals. And he hashtagged it so it's easy to find and all that. And I shared it. Good. Let your viewers know, because they would want to come see you. If you're a viewer and your favorite content creators have not declared, get in their videos and their comments and say, hey, what are you bringing to the No Name Nationals? Just that's the two-way street here. And that's how it'll work.
As far as participating in the event, I know that some people that are going to be tuning into this didn't tune into the initial announcement. So right. I'm trying to think of all the stuff that I want to make sure that I would ask if
sure.
if I didn't know. One thing would be tech inspections, standard
Sure.
stuff, right?
So the tech inspections, first of all, we're not looking to hammer on anybody. And if there's something that is just so patently unsafe it can't go down a track in the discretion of tech inspectors, it can always be on the show field. But
Yeah.
we don't want to be that way. So at a minimum, you're going to have a radiator overflow bottle, okay? And you're going to have a battery hold down, okay? Can't have wire hanging out of the tires, et cetera, et cetera. But those basic safety rules apply to any track you go to. If your car is quick enough that you're going to need things like a roll bar, roll cage, these type of things, you're pretty much already going to know it and already going to have it. So just know that this event is going to be pretty similar to running at any track. We do want people to be safe. So your basic, ET requirements, speed requirements for things are in place. But this is a good opportunity to run things down the track people may never have seen. So, for instance, I had an inquiry: can somebody run his rock crawling truck down the track? Sure, go for it. Cement mixer, whatever. You can, if as long as it's safe, we don't care. You can run practically anything down the track.
Awesome. One thing that I've been a huge fan of lately is when the sun goes down. I don't know. It brings me back to the old street racing days. And are we going to be able to run at night at Jeffers?
We're going to have to see what the time looks like, with the event. Do we want to have a certain, time? Because this is a big party where there's a racetrack.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of need to gauge it and see. We're going to lay out an itinerary as we go. Just know that there's going to be 2 full days of YouTube automotive debauchery here. And we haven't set a schedule just yet. We should be good to open gates for people who are camping a little bit earlier, like on the Thursday. Okay. But we're going to have to set we'll have a reasonable schedule.
All I'm saying is I wouldn't be mad if the floodlights had to turn on and we ran into the night. And maybe when the sun goes down, maybe that's when we shut the tree off and we do it old school. I don't know. I don't know if that's something you're interested in.
We're going to have something for everyone when it comes to the way we run. We're going to have a bracket because some of you guys are ringers and you know how to cut lights and that kind of thing. We do have some really accomplished bracket racers who are good content creators. Then there's people, like me who couldn't cut a light, on leaves on a sundial. That's fine too. We have exhibition, we have call out classes. And here's another thing that a lot of guys need to know. You can negotiate these races. So if you want to negotiate some car lengths or say, I'll run you naturally aspirated, you get one kit, no slicks versus slicks, this kind of thing. If you remember the old show Pinks, they would negotiate like that. You guys can do that here too. We can have that here.
Awesome. And
figure out what you want to do on your channels when you call each other out, and you can pre-negotiate that first race before you ever get there. And then negotiate a best of 3 or after you get there, you can do that.
I'm sure there's going to be some under the table cash. There's
cash on the table for one headline in match/grudge race, however you want to look at it. Uncle Tony's Garage Bottle Rocket running Unity Motorsports Garage Casper. That is going to be a good race. I think it's going to surprise some people. I will not pick a favorite, declare either one. I'm friends with both of them, but I can't wait to see that one. One and done, off the trailer, $2,500 on the line.
Ooh.
So I'll be at the line.
I'll be at the line holding some money.
That's just the first declared match we've had. I mean, there's a lot of other ones I know that are in the works. So we'll see.
All right, that just upped the stakes a little bit because I think there's some people, that watch what goes on TV and they're like, God, that'd be fun. That's going to happen here.
Unlike TV, this is real.
Yeah.
Everything we do is real. That's why we have so many of these little nagging little problems we're working through, because you really are seeing it in real time. This is not like Discovery Channel, where if we have a little thing we're working through, you say, okay, there's 20 minutes until top of the hour. I know that when they're going to get it worked out. It's not like that. This is as real as it gets.
And this event is a 2-day event or a 3-day event?
I'm sorry, Chris, could you repeat that?
Is this a 2-day event or a 3-day event?
It's going to be a 2-day event. So our original date, well, we did a Friday, Saturday split. We're going to do the same. It'll be a Friday, Saturday split.
Okay.
And
Perfect.
you know, no matter what 2 days you pick, there's going to be something that doesn't work for somebody. But
Sure.
the Friday Saturday seems to be pretty popular, and we're going to keep that. We'll announce that tomorrow.
Awesome. Awesome. So, for everybody that wants the concrete date to get all that information, you're going live tomorrow. What time?
Tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. So it'd be noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be live on my channel with AHRA President Dallas Brown, and we will give the concrete date. Today there was a meeting at Jeffers, to where everybody is making sure they're on the same page to guarantee this date, and we'll give details on that tomorrow. But we just want this to be a great event. I know it's going to be, and now you got just a little bit more time to get ready.
Yeah, it's gonna be this is one of those events where I'm like, now is the opportunity for the trolls to come out of the woodwork
Go for
and
it.
put their money where their mouth is.
Sure.
We see these trolls, and now you get a chance to run all the people that you talk smack about. So it'll be a
Of
lot of
course.
fun. I can't wait to see it.
Listen, all these, like right now, I could probably tell you by name some trolls watching this just so they can go rush to hate on it later. But I'm telling you, we're going to tell you tomorrow. We'll announce a date. We'll tell you exactly when we'll be there, tell you exactly where we're going to be. They can get a spectator ticket for $15, just like anybody else, and can come tell it to our face.
That's a good point there. Spectators, $15. How much does it cost to participate in the event?
Participant registration is $50 for either day, $75 for both. Spectator tickets are discounted if you buy them online. They're $15 a day if you buy them online, either Friday or Saturday. If you buy them at the gate, they're $20 a piece. So save yourself some money and buy spectator tickets in advance.
I do want to say that this is a Mopar channel, and anybody that's going to the No Name Nationals, I would love to promote whatever projects you're working on. So if you want to come on the show and talk some smack, we'll tag it for John to post on his channel. But I would love to get all the people with Mopars that are going to participate in the No Name Nationals on the show, just to talk and see what they're working on and stuff. That'll be a lot of fun.
For sure. We're going to keep this going, of course, all year long, but the content just seems to be unlimited. I typically will have an interview type live stream every other week on my channel. The next one I have coming up is going to be January 28th at 8 p.m. Eastern with Simpson Speed Shop.
Oh, okay.
But going through the year, we're going to be having people who are attendees at this event. So anybody who's pre-registered or working on something, that's who I'm going to be looking to have as my live guests.
Awesome.
And we can talk about your personal road to Sikeston. And
sure,
because it's going to be different for everybody.
Yeah.
Like one guest that I fully intend to have is Nolan from Wild Rose Garage. He's trailering 30 hours from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And he's going to bring something that's Oldsmobile powered. That's what he runs. It could be his Cutlass, but what he's trying to build and get there in is his 1960 Studebaker.
Oh, really?
455 Olds power, bringing that down all the way from Canada. And I talk about hardcore. And he's another guy that's still just a little bit short on the subscribers. And his content's wonderful. He's really smart. So go subscribe to him, Wild Rose Garage. He needs a few more, and he'll get it.
Awesome. I've been taking a couple notes here because I'm horrible with remembering stuff. But all right. Yeah, it's going to be interesting because I've helped promote a couple of events in the past, and promoting muscle cars at the Strip and whatnot. And usually the promotion happens like right at like the 11th hour. They're like, all right, let's promote the hell out of it. We've got pretty much, we'll call it 6 months with plenty of leeway. I'm imagining 8 months or something like that. There's so much prep time for guys, once again, like Brian, that are building a car from scratch. Plenty of time to get everything going and get out there to Sikeston and run it down the track.
Speaking of Aaron Henry, I see him in the comments. He's in Australia. He's already got a spectator ticket.
Wow. Aaron, that is some dedication.
I'm telling you, we've got 3 countries represented so far. Canada's represented, and I'm talking registered. We have Canada, Australia, United States. Nobody from Mexico yet. We'll almost certainly have somebody from Mexico here soon. But we have 4 countries represented. So, and Lunar Outlaws coming from New York. So make that 4.
um, that's funny. Another thing I wanted to address was lodging. There's hotels
Right.
around Sikeston, I imagine.
Yeah, if you look online, there are hotels in Sikeston. They're a few miles from the track because almost all tracks are out in the county a little bit, and that
Yeah,
helps
sure.
with noise, things like that. Uh, there's also camping available there at the track. They do have a very limited number of AC hookups for power, like
Okay.
AC power, but they do have a lot of room for rustic camping. That they have shower houses, so you've got some options there. And then, of course, with the Airbnb stuff, that's even more options too.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not too familiar with the state of Missouri. What's the closest airport?
Probably, if I had to guess, Branson.
Okay.
Geographically, Memphis is probably even closer, would be
Really?
my
Okay.
guess. Oh, yeah, because you're right above Memphis, Tennessee. But I will tell you this: Memphis is one dangerous, sketchy place, and I would recommend flying in somewhere else.
I when I was driving semis over the road, one of my stops was in Memphis, Tennessee. I pulled into the truck stop. It was like 2 a.m. and it was the only time I ever ran into a lot lizard. They do exist. They're I thought they were mythical, but no, I ran into one. She had about
No, no,
two
that's true.
teeth.
The stop where I usually get fuel when I'm going to the middle of Tennessee, like to visit Uncle Tony's garage or down that way. There's a nice stop in Dandridge, and I was just because that stop there is nice and clean, everything good parking, easy in and out if you have a trailer. And sure enough, I saw a lot lizards there, and I'm like, wow, right in the middle of the day.
Yeah, it's wild. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
yeah. St. Louis is probably the closest. Dust Devil Garage,
Oh,
he
okay.
lives there. He says St. Louis is the biggest major airport. Yeah, I did think I
Okay.
should ask him, and there he is. He's got us.
Okay, cool. That's probably I can't imagine that I'd be driving out just because it's such a I've already got my vacation scheduled, so it's gonna for me it's gonna be like a cannonball plane ride down.
Right.
Um, but I've got some friends in the area, and we were talking about putting something together to hopefully participate in this event. So we'll see what
Yeah.
happens with that. No guarantees yet, but it would be kind of fun because like a lot of my buddies that I work with are in that you know that little 3 state Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri. I've got some friends down there, so we're talking about some stuff.
Well, Ruben from Muscle City Madness, he is trailering out from Phoenix. It's 30 hours for him, but he's planning on bringing a motor home and bringing his 69 Roadrunner. And by the way, so we got Mr. Rodder's neighborhood in the house. And for those of you who don't know, that's like the personal channel for AHRA President Dallas Brown. And
What's up?
he has around 400 subscribers. So I told Dallas, you better get busy so you can participate in your own event. The
Okay.
AHRA channel has a lot more. It's a much bigger channel, but his personal channel, it still needs a few more. So I've been teasing Dallas. He's got to get the subs so that he can come out.
So for people that don't, I'm sure people know, the big drag racing organization. Tell us a little bit about the AHRA for those that don't
Well,
know.
the AHRA, this is being revived. It's been around a long time,
Yeah.
and it kind of fell into obscurity, in recent years until Dallas, he bought it. And it's so funny to just think somebody can you buy a sanctioning? But yeah, he did. So Dallas is bringing it back, and he's at 432. There we go. Dallas has 68 more to go. Dallas is bringing the AHRA back, and he
Awesome.
is a real grassroots racer at heart. He's the real deal. He's the guy who lives it, right? So when you hear these stories about people who have had sanctioning bodies,
Mhm.
there's 2 big sanctioning bodies everybody's heard of that have had presidents over the years who maybe weren't as philosophically aligned with the
Sure.
mission of the racers, and they still are haunted by that. Dallas is absolutely not that guy. He is that grassroots racer. He knows, he's been in your shoes, and he's building events that way for the rest of us. And I think that this event is the epitome of that. So to have an event for YouTube content creators who are people without sponsors, that kind of thing, he puts his money where his mouth is when he says that he is the grassroots organization for the rest of us. And this event really demonstrates that better than anything else I think he could have done.
Absolutely. That question was mostly for me because I thought that the AHRA was defunct. I was like,
Right.
I was surprised, and I was like, I got to
The
get to the bottom of
AHRA
that.
was on life support, and
Yeah,
Dallas is bringing it back in a big way. So
very
if you're
cool.
not a member of the AHRA, ahraonline.com, you can get your membership there. I just renewed my membership for 3 more years. Uh, First class sanctioning body. I think more tracks need to pick them up.
Definitely, I'll have to get him on the podcast to talk about some fun stuff.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely. He'd be great.
yeah, there's a lot of different. I know that we've talked about it, and I know I've talked with a bunch of my other buddies about it. But this corporate stuff, it just doesn't do anything for me. The
Well,
tens of millions of dollars, and it's just too
okay. So
commercialized.
we can look at one of my favorite classes from the past, which is Pro Stock.
Yeah,
What has been done in Pro Stock that has made it more for the spectators ever in the last 30 years? So they went to one engine. The DRCE goes and kills off all of the other stuff, right? That was the end of the Clevelands. That was the end of everything else,
hmm,
right? Uh, we look at them. They've now gone to one body. So all Pro Stock is an NHRA is it's all Camaros. It's Camaro Eliminator.
yeah,
That's what it
yeah.
is, right? There's no parts there that came off of any production car. They went to fuel injection, like that's going to make it identify with people anymore. None of these things did anything
Yeah.
to help anything, and it's almost like you ever use a program or a software, or you go online to try to buy something and you say, man, this was not written by a consumer, this was written by an engineer, right?
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
seems to me like when they make changes in the rules with these big corporate sanctioning bodies, it's almost like these rule changes were all made by the engineers and not the consumers, because the consumers will never have picked any of the stuff they did. And sure enough, nobody's watching the classes anymore, and that's a real shame. It got rid of a lot of the grassroots drivers because it put up a huge barrier of expense, and they didn't want to start over. And
Yeah.
anyway, when I see that with these big sanctioning bodies, I say I'm really glad that there's a sanctioning body for the rest of us, and that's exactly what AHRA is doing.
Absolutely. I'll definitely promote something like that because I'm right on board with you. Like, I would much rather go on YouTube and look up the golden era and just watch old grainy footage of, Landy, Sox and
Oh
Martin,
yeah,
of
go
course,
back.
who doesn't want to see a little Jungle Pam? You know what
Oh,
I mean?
go back and watch Pro Stock from 1970 to 1981.
The
Okay,
best.
before the era of the DRCE, when they ran small blocks and the car, they still use real cars, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That is some fantastic stuff.
Yeah, that's when it comes to drag racing and stuff. One class that I've been really digging lately is the factory appearing classes where
Yeah,
they bring out the factory appearing muscle cars, and it's got to look factory, and some of the times these guys are running in these cars just blow my mind. They got to get
Dave,
real creative.
look at Dave Dudek. I mean, he's pulling what 6 inches of air under the left
Man,
front. He's on polyglass tires.
unbelievable.
Yeah, that guy has done everything with that I think you can do, and then he still finds a way to make it faster. It's pretty unbelievable.
That's
I love it.
probably that was probably my favorite episode of Uncle Tony's podcast, which if you talk to him, tell him I'm super disappointed that he gave up on the podcast. I
Well, he's talked about another one. He is crazy busy, but he and I've actually
sure.
talked about another one. So
Cool.
so we'll see. It may well come back. Just you never know.
Yeah, that's it was one of the things that got me to do this podcast. Actually, I need to thank Tony again because I know he mentioned on his podcast I had already bought. I don't know if you ever heard this story, John. I had bought talkingmopars.com, and because I was like, there's no Mopar podcasts, right? And I'm doing some
Right.
searches, and I find Uncle Tony's, and I'm like, oh shit, right? I'm listening to this thing. I'm like, this is a great podcast. This is awesome. And he mentions doing a podcast with Dave Ray called Talking Mopars. I was like, son of a bitch.
Ah,
So I had already bought the domain. So I'm sitting on this domain and I'm going, well, I might as well just listen to the rest of these podcasts. I didn't realize that by the time I caught them, it was in summer of 2019, I think. Uh
right.
the podcast was already pretty much dead in the water. So I got to the last episode that he had recorded, and I was anxiously awaiting the next ones. And I was like, when were these episodes up? And I was like, oh, it's been a while. Actually, if I go in my email, I probably still have it. I reached out to Uncle Tony and said, hey, look, I heard you drop the name Talking Mopars on your podcast. I have a domain. I really wanted to start a podcast with that same name, but obviously, you know, I'm not trying to steal steal from you. But he gave me his blessing. He's like, "Hey, the podcast is dead. YouTube's where it's at for me. Go by all means." So
Tony's not a greedy guy. He's not a greedy guy, and he likes to see other people excel.
yeah,
He's a neat guy like that. I give him a lot of credit for that.
yeah, I definitely my life has definitely changed since I started talking Mopars, and I only had one other name that I had considered, but I bought Talking Mopars first because I figured if somebody's going on a podcast search engine or a an app, you know, they got to see Mopar in the name, that'll drag them in. But the other name I had considered was the Hustle Stuff podcast. And then,
that's a throwback.
it was a throwback, and I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, I might get some drug dealers on there or something. Like, what is this podcast about?
It'll be guys who are 70 and up and drug dealers.
Yeah, yeah,
That's who would know what hustle stuff means.
yeah. It was the Hustle Stuff, and then the other one that I had considered was Direct Connections, and I just ended up turning that into one of the shows that I do, Direct Connections with people.
Yeah, for you guys who don't know what hustle stuff is, that was the predecessor to
Direct Connection. That's awesome.
See
I need
that?
one of those. I
See
need
that?
one of those
Look,
books.
it's got greasy handprints on it and tabs everywhere. I use my stuff.
Nice, nice. Yeah, if you guys go on eBay and you look up some of those Direct Connection manuals, every once in a while you find one for a good deal, but then you find the guy who knows what he has.
Right.
What do you? That's a good question. So, since Uncle Tony's not here, I did see a video, and I wouldn't say it pissed me off, but I really was like, I was disappointed. You know exactly where I'm going with this.
No, because he's got a lot of them that make people mad.
It didn't make me mad, but I was disappointed. And it was the Direct Connection video talking about the new Direct Connection. What do you think about we'll call it Stellantis bringing back Direct Connection?
Okay, so my thought on it is, I had to watch that abomination when they see. I'm a Dodge Dart guy. I love the Dart. My first car was a 70 Dart Swinger, and I watch him put the Dart name on that little Fiat.
The Fiat Dart,
right? So I've watched abomination after abomination. I personally, and I agree with Tony on this, that we don't think there's any direct lineage. I mean, all DNA between the old Mopars and what they're making now is just gone.
Sure.
So what I hate is that you have these people who probably, a lot of them are probably too young to remember, who are dragging these old names out because they sound cool and just slapping them on whatever. So if they wound up using Direct Connection and kind of hoeing out the name, for lack of a better term, to try to get some buzz around their electric vehicle, yeah, I think it's disgusting. But
yeah,
I won't abandon the Direct Connection of old. I think it's still meaningful to me, just like Dodge Dart. I didn't take the emblems off my Dart because they put that name on that Fiat car, right? So that's kind of what I think. However, him cutting that license plate in half, look, it got a ton of views, made a lot of buzz, and some girl now proudly displays that license plate. He sent it to her.
Oh,
so
that's
everybody
awesome.
won on that. It was a lot of fun,
Sure.
right? And it brought attention to the Direct Connection thing. So in the end, you got to take a little bit of that content creator type of stuff and creativity to kind of see the big picture.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, you're clickbaiting me, Tony." I was like, "I gotta watch this now."
I see exactly. You could not watch it, right? I see Andy Wood, Unity Motorsports Garage, is in the house, but yeah, Charger guy. They see the new Charger, the Challengers. They drag all of these. You know what? You wait and watch. They're going to come out with something probably that has a big stylized wing on the back, and they'll call it the Superbird. How awful would that be, right?
Oh,
that could
man,
happen. It could happen. Hey, look what name they stuck the Daytona on in the 80s. So it's been done many times. It'll continue to happen.
I being a fan of the 80s Daytonas, it definitely, and a fan of obviously the original Charger Daytona, it definitely, I can't say it rubs me the wrong way, but I do, you know. And then they had the Challenger from the 70s, that Mitsubishi abomination.
Exactly. The 82 Challenger. Look at that. Most people don't even know about that one.
Yeah. Oh gosh. But I guess I have a little bit. I'm trying to stay optimistic, but you know, the more optimistic I get, the more I hear, "Oh, they're killing the Hemi. They're doing all this stuff," and I'm like, "What are you guys doing?"
We'll put that one in perspective. So, how many years did we have the first Hemi? right? So
Yeah.
race Hemi 64. If you count the race Hemi, not just the street Hemi, you're
Yep.
64 to 71, right?
hmm
And then of course it lived on and things after that. But out of the production cars in 71. So this new Hemi, we've had longer than that.
Yeah.
But people say they kill it. It actually enjoyed a much longer run than the first one. And there's nothing to say. I know we're living in some crazy times in many ways, but there's nothing to say you can't have version 3 or version 4, actually, version 4. Because the first generation Hemi disappeared, then the second generation, then the third. These things have never overlapped.
What the thing that bothers me the most, because like I said, I'm an optimistic guy. I was all for them bringing an electric muscle car on board as long as it can beat a Tesla. I was like, I'll be
Sure.
if it can't beat a Tesla, don't even bother. You know what I mean? So when you're talking about electric muscle car, if it can't beat the Tesla, then don't even do it. But when I started losing faith was when they said they want their entire lineup to be electric. I was like,
No,
oh man, that that is a bad move.
it's a disaster.
um,
The post office is doing that. The post office is going to all electric mail delivery vehicles. Well, good for the post office. They have piles of our money to waste and can't hire enough people to waste it, right? I don't care if they want to have an electric vehicle creeping around delivering my mail. It doesn't matter. But to think that that's a model for the regular consumer, I mean, those post office vehicles, they might do on the same 30-mile route their entire life.
Yeah.
And then when one of them goes down in the middle of the road somewhere, okay, it's already on the side of the road delivering mail. They just send out another one that looks just like it and swap out. For it to be practical for the post office does not mean it's practical for the rest of us.
No, and I just for the modern stuff, and I know everybody has their own opinion about the modern Mopars. Is it a real Mopar? I I am I am happy that they're at least, doing something for the muscle car market. I do appreciate that. I love that they haven't
Sure.
they haven't bastardized the Challenger.
Yet.
The four-door, yeah, yeah. The four-door Charger definitely stirred up some feelings, and I do tend to agree. I think it's an awesome sedan. And it does have some, I guess there's certain things you can compare to the old Chargers, but a Charger's a two-door. It always has been. It always should have been.
That's one I'm weirdly okay with because
Yeah,
at least it's rear wheel drive, it's
yeah,
V8, and it's definitely you can have a good hot rod with one of those newer Chargers. I don't have a
absolutely.
problem with that. I just hate it when they completely steal the name. Like if they had put Charger on a minivan,
Oh, yeah,
Charger needs to be fast. The Charger needs to
yeah,
be sleek.
yeah.
And we can't go back to, you know what? I would really think it would be a disaster if they tried to bring this stuff back knowing they'll never equal it, right?
Yeah.
Like if you just look at just federal regulations and this kind of thing, manufacturing processes and all of that, it would be literally impossible to ever truly recreate that. Those days are gone. They're fondly remembered. I just wish that we had good aftermarket support and things so that we can continue to enjoy them. But to try to get the auto manufacturers on board with doing that kind of thing, I think it's just kind of a lost cause.
Yeah, absolutely. And like a lot of people talk about the dark era of Mopars being, from the late 70s into the 80s, but in my opinion, the dark era of Mopars was the era in the 90s when they were
Yeah,
slapping RT on everything. That really pissed me off. I was like, you can't
yeah.
put RT on everything. Come on, guys. Come on.
I'll just tell you, personally, I don't plan to ever buy another vehicle that the year begins with a two. I mean, I really don't. I don't want the complication in my life. I have a 2002 Assault CRV. That's what I call it, the Assault CRV. It's got 319,000 miles on it. Wonderful vehicle. Yes, it's fuel injected. All of that's still wonderful vehicle. Here's the thing, though. One time that little thing, the immobilizer went bad, the anti-theft thing. Well, I mean, okay, it's not a big deal to change, but the problem is you have to have Honda's software and programming. It's an anti-theft. It's not
Yeah.
open source and all that. Well, at that moment, I said, I am completely at the mercy of Honda deciding if my vehicle will ever work again. And it was right then and there. I was already just this close, and it was right there. I said, nope, never again. I'm just never going to buy anything else dependent on somebody else's computer software for me to go ask them if I can have a running car again. The most computer I ever want on a car is what runs this distributor. After that, I'm done.
um, but yeah, it really is when I think about how the strides they've made to kind of keep, the brotherhood of muscle and stuff. And then they go and tell us, yeah, we're gonna kill off the Hemi. Oh, and then everything's gonna be electric. I'm like, are you just trying to cut your own throats, or what's happening here? Because it seems to me like, I mean, the Challenger just surpassed, I think, the Mustang and the Camaro for sales for the first time ever. And I'm like, and you're gonna kill it? Like, it's insane.
It's funny. Like, one thing I think that I got some mixed thoughts on is when uh, the Project X, the Chevrolet Project vehicle, right, from popular
Mhm.
hot rodding fame, when they did the electric vehicle conversion on it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I could tell by the way they made the video. Like, one of them was asking the other, "What are we going to do to soften the blow to the guys who think this is an abomination?" And the other one says, "We're not." Look, they were trolling you.
Yeah.
They're putting this stuff in there. They're getting their tax write off, and somebody is going to take all that stuff out, throw it away, and put a gasoline V8 powertrain that's going back in that car. They're creating a low spot on purpose so they can have another high spot with the car.
Sure.
I know that's what they're doing.
Well, it's kind of like with the with the roadkill guys. They had the Hellcat Charger, General Mayhem, and then they put the 440 back in it, and it's like it relit, the love for General Mayhem, because it seemed like it died off once they stopped,
Yeah,
messing with the
that was
old
by
stuff.
design. How,
Yeah,
how do you get another peak?
yeah.
What you do is you do something like that, then you can get another peak.
I have a controversial opinion on electric vehicles because I was at SEMA this past year, and it's a car that I've been wanting to see in person, and it's the Electrolight, the
Huh,
satellite with the Tesla engine in it. And
really?
the build is completely clean. And like normally I'm like, oh my God, that's the ultimate bastardization. But it- there was a couple Teslas there. I think there was one with an LS swap, and there was an electric DeLorean. So it was interesting to see what people are doing, to electric vehicles by putting LSs in them. That was a complete, like, that's the
Yeah,
ultimate bastardization, from an eco perspective. It's like, you're going to take a Tesla and put a LS in it. I laughed. It was so
yeah,
funny.
that's great.
But, a lot of people, when I saw, uh, when the guy announced that he was going to build this car, and everybody found out that he was taking the satellite and putting a Tesla drivetrain in it, the Mopar world got lit up. But I saw the car in person, and I was like, you know what? It was a satellite. It's not like he took a numbers matching Roadrunner, something like that. But at the same time, it's like the build quality was great. The thing is apparently fast as hell. Um, I think there's room for that kind of stuff, but yeah, I'm still on the fence about Mopar going all electric, and
You know
I
what?
can't wait to see the electric muscle. I want to see what they've got up their sleeve. It better be cool, because
You
they
know what?
can't blow it.
I don't care because I know it's going to be an appliance. I just
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
But that said, it's all fine. Whatever people want. I know one thing though. You ever had a phone that was working fine and then it just crashes and goes into boot loop, right? Do
yeah.
you want to be able to have that to depend on for your car? I know I
Hell
don't.
no, hell no.
Well, there's a guy, the Tesla Racing channel. I really hope he or that Rich Rebuilds guy, I hope they come out and bring a Tesla. I'd love to see them
Yeah,
bring it out. I think that's cool. I'm not opposed to the EV thing at all. I just think that people thinking that we should switch, I think,
mhm,
is a disaster. I
I
don't know
agree.
why an EV can't just exist in the current ecosystem along with everything else. I don't know why people
Yeah,
have this mentality that has to replace it. I think that's very unfortunate.
yeah. I can't. I also can't get if they want to go all electric, and blow the whole joint, that's fine. They can do whatever they want. I'm mostly worried because I am a proponent of the resto mod stuff, and putting modern Hemis and old Chryslers. um I approve of those, Gen 3 Hemi swaps and stuff.
Sure.
I hope they don't kill the production of the crate engines that they have. That would
Well,
be
they
pretty
already
sad.
have started killing them off.
Have they?
There's a lot of them that don't sell. Like, the older
uh,
ones used to be able to get a lot of Gen 2 Hemi crate stuff, and they've killed off a lot of that. So all that stuff is cyclical. Um,
God.
the crate engine thing doesn't affect me as much because I'd rather build my own than go from
Sure.
a crate.
Yeah.
But as far as what they're doing with modern cars, I don't care. I have already completely opted out. Now, what I
Yeah.
do care about is I don't want for regulations to now adapt to them. So, for example, if they decide that the powers that be who govern our roadways and stuff decide that, hey, we're going to change a standard for a car, and now your old gasoline stuff doesn't fit the standard and you can't drive it, that will be a real problem. But as far as what manufacturers are doing, I have never picked up a new car brochure in about 15 years. And so to me, it doesn't matter. As long as they leave me alone, let me be a caveman, leave me and my breaker points and all that stuff be, we're all good. You can Tesla away.
I love it all. I like the old stuff. Obviously, my loyalties lie, you know, we'll say pre 1980. With the I got a 78 truck, so I can't exclude that. But
Well, so Dallas has mentioned the EVs underutilized in racing. I'll tell you a funny story real quick. So when I was at Virginia Tech in the late 90s, mid and late 90s, I worked in the wear lab, which is where the students would build hydrogen fuel cell, electric vehicles. They were building these prototypes to do research for General Motors, right? And they had some, I think it was Illumina at the time. They had Illumina, they had a neon, something else, and they had an electric motor in that Illumina. And Dallas reminded me the torque on that thing was unreal. You've never seen Illumina do a burnout until you saw what this thing would do. So yeah, I can see the potential in racing, but to me, so Bigfoot Monster Trucks had an electric monster truck, and it was several years ago. They put out an electric monster truck, right?
Really?
But yeah, and they showed this thing in exhibition, crushing cars. It was the stupidest exhibition I've ever seen. Now, I applaud them for trying, but when you listen to this thing, all you could hear were the cleats on the tires, and you could hear the crunching of the metal, but there was no engine. And man, you don't realize how much that roots blown engine and contributes to the monster truck until you see an electric and it doesn't have it.
Yeah, half the fun of going to monster trucks is seeing how long you can last before you have to put the earplugs in.
Oh yeah, and how much that contributes to the experience.
Yeah,
so I guess I'm glad we did it because it made me appreciate, the monsters of old even more.
I'm all about speed, and I love the fact that those electric cars, instant torque, all that stuff. But if exactly unfinished project, you said it.
Yep.
If I can't feel it, if I can't hear it, and my buddy, he's a Ford guy, and he told me that, and I don't know how many other manufacturers are doing this, but this made me sick when I heard it. He told me that they're like pumping sound into cars. And I was like, huh?
Oh, I've heard that. I have heard that. They have artificial sounds to restore. Well, okay, like on our phones. So when they did away with the home button on the phone, they put a fake button in. That way you can feel it click.
Yeah.
Okay, so now with cars, they're kind of doing that too, and I hate that.
I heard that, and I was like, you got to be kidding me.
You can select the exhaust note you want now.
Yeah.
It's box mashed potatoes on wheels. I have no use for that.
Yeah. I really want to make a joke, but just because I don't want to get canceled, I won't make the joke I want to make. But it reminds me of something else in the world that is just so ridiculous. Like, can't you just leave well enough alone? Why do you like? It was the most pathetic thing I've ever heard. And I was like, "Are you talking about in electric cars?" And he's telling me that these are in, gas cars. And I was
yes.
like,
oh yeah, it's in gasoline cars. Well, because there's no sound anymore, so you can just make them sound like whatever you want. I think it's utterly ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous.
Yeah. No,
I would be willing to go back to the giant muffler on the Honda than go forward to what you're talking about.
Yeah. Let's what time is it here? I gotta make sure I can get my daughter into bed here.
Yeah, we're 9:26. It's your show. I'm just hanging out. I'm enjoying this. I see a lot of folks over here I know. I'm loving that Unfinished Project is here.
Yeah.
And of course, Dallas is here. Big Mike's Hoopty Barn, Bear Roo's Garage. A couple of guys in our Cinderella class who are working hard. I'm proud of them. And then there's some names I'm not as familiar with, but I'm just glad they're here, and we'll hang out as long as y'all want to. I'm just chilling.
Definitely.
I'm taking a break from administrative work for the No Name Manager.
I think I'll address it again at 7, but I want to see if anybody. I'm gonna share the link in the comments to join us on screen. If you have any questions for John, feel free to join us.
Sure.
Let me just add that. That might let's see here. All right, guys. So I'm going to put the link in the comments. If you want to join us on screen, maybe you have some questions for John or me. this show's mostly about the No Name Nationals because I'm really excited. But
Sure,
these podcasts, you know, you always get on little tangents and
sure.
kind of go off track or whatever. It makes it
The
fun.
good news is we've got until summer to talk about it, and
Yeah,
whatever we'll have developments to talk about and whatever. So
absolutely. Um, is there is there I don't know how much you're willing to give away or anything like that. So I'm just going to ask the question. Is there somebody or a car in particular that you really want to see show up to this event? Like
well,
what's
okay,
John?
so
What's
understand.
John want to see?
I'll separate me the event organizer from me
Yeah.
the fan who
Yeah.
would love to see just watch it. Right. I'm really looking forward to Uncle Tony's Garage versus Unity Motorsports Garage. I
Hmm.
can't wait for that one. That I think, it's that one is one that I think people they have preconceived notions of. And it's going to surprise them because one, everybody knew Casper was fast. That truck ran down in the sevens, 600 horsepower, small block Ford. But he's building a new engine, but they haven't seen what all that's going to wind up being. And there's other things about that truck that can change between now and then too. And Bottle Rocket, on the other hand, there's a lot. Who knows what Tony? You never know what he's going to do. Okay, and so one run and done. That actually means you can know even less before it happens. So that's going to be interesting. I mean, that race is nobody knows what's going to happen there. I think that's going to be a great race. I'm loving these other call outs, just Mopar Joe and Bigfoots and Mopars. That's a call out that I don't think they've made, but they've talked about it an awful lot. I'd like to see it get done. So that's another good one. I know one thing. If I had to guess, I would say some of these guys are going to be talking a lot less about their time slips between now and
Yeah.
then. There
It
are some cars I'd like to see. I'll tell you one I personally would love to see, and maybe you just would want to put it on the show field, but I think it'd be a great attraction. I would love for our friend Jed Scott to bring Jezebel. I know
yeah.
he's not as big on the traveling and hauling thing. I get that, and not everybody likes all that. But I'll say this: I think it would be a really cool attraction there. I think people would like to see it. I know I'd like to see it. That's one I would like to see. But I got to tell you, it's hard for me to pick something because so much is definitely going to be here.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, we're not gonna be waiting for anybody.
Brian,
Hey,
what's up, buddy?
Guys.
when was the last time you had two guests and each of them had a welding shield?
This is the first time for everything.
I'm working.
Good.
Brian,
what are you getting done, Brian?
Yeah.
Huh?
What do you got going on there?
What are you doing?
I'm getting the floors welded up. Somebody had wanted to cut the floor out of this at one time, and they made two big square cuts, but left the metal in there. So I'm getting that all patched up, and I got some other little welding projects to do, like the trunk that they cut out of it. But I'm just putting a big flat piece of metal in there. So,
Excellent.
Brian,
I'm getting a handle on it.
how much are you willing to divulge about where you're taking this project?
What do you want to know?
What do you got planned for a drivetrain?
Going to be a 360 small block. As fast as I can afford to build it.
Nice.
Oh wow, my camera looks like crap.
Now, do you have a pile of parts for this car, or you got a shell and now you got to source everything for it?
I've got to source a lot of it.
Okay.
A lot of it. But hold on a second. Let me leave and come right back. Camera, I think I'm on the wrong camera here.
All right, sounds good. Yeah.
Poor Chris. His guests are just technology problem central today.
Hey, when you do things on the internet, things like that happen.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't bother me one bit because it's real.
No.
I've mentioned authenticity before. This is authenticity.
It's the real world. What can I say?
Yeah,
but I like it so much better than TV. With TV, you never know what you don't see, but with YouTube, it's so much more real.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's Jezebel's definitely a car that I've been following that car for as long as I can remember. I remember when Ratty muscle cars started to like really, I don't know if I want to call it mainstream, but it started to get a little bit more mainstream and they started to be more accepted. And Jezebel's was long before that, I believe.
Oh yeah.
definitely one of those cars that I've never been a big YouTube guy, but every time I have gone to YouTube, type in Mopars, that was one of the first cars I saw when I was like, okay, that's friggin' cool.
Yeah, that's
Um,
real cool.
yeah.
That's Jed's contact picture of my phone. That car comes up. But it's stuff like that's just is what it's all about.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Brian.
Yeah,
So
I'm
you
gonna
got
rock
you got
one
to
now.
you got to get a bunch of parts for that thing.
Yeah, I got friends that got parts, and the engine is actually at the machine shop now.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that was I did a video tearing that engine down.
Okay, good.
That was that was a while back, but yeah, it's going to be a 360 Magnum motor.
Okay.
I picked the Magnum because of the roller cam, because I don't want to fight flat tappet cams now.
Smart.
So are you planning on putting a full interior in this thing, or is it gonna be a bare bones car or what?
Okay, I don't like the look of race cars when there's just nothing in there. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I'm going to have door panels in it. I'm going to have carpeting in it, but not necessarily like factory carpet.
Okay.
I'm going back and forth on if I'm going to put a back seat in it, because I've decided I am going to put a roll bar in it, just because if I'm not fast enough now, I plan on going fast enough. So I'm going to have a headliner in it. It's going to have interior. It's going to have the racing buckets are going to be in it. I got those plastic racing buckets. I got a set of those over there. I do have a lot of parts, but like I just got a lead, and I wouldn't have done it, but a friend of mine had one for sale. I've got a Dana to go in the back of it now.
Dana out of what?
It was a truck Dana that was cut down to an early B body.
Okay, what kind of axles are you going to run with that? Or
I need to buy axles for it, and he's selling me that and a torque converter, and that has a set of 410 gears in it, but he's also selling me a set of 456s to go in it.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about going with the 456s because I am running a tall tire. Anybody who's seen this thing before, seen the tires that are going on it.
And you're running it naturally aspirated, so
I could tell people I am.
Well.
So this thing's going to be tubbed or what?
No.
Mini tub?
No.
No.
Not at all.
He's running the speed buggy look.
Okay. Oh.
Whoa, Brian.
I'll be wheezing the juice, huh? All right.
Whoa.
I need to get another one of those, though, because I'm going to be running a tunnel ram on it, too.
Oh,
that's going to be cool.
Either Brian is going to have a glorious pass, or he might win the biggest oil down award.
Oh, yeah. It's either going to go or it's going to go.
That's the spirit, man. I love it.
See, but then, it's like you said, if I break it, oh boy, I get to work on it again. And I get to get more content.
Right.
Oh man, that's you got a hell of a project ahead of you, man.
You do, and I'm telling you, it's coming close.
Well, I don't know if anybody see. I've done so many of these lives with this car in the background. A lot of people already know. I don't know if you'll be able to see when I turn the camera. Oh, hold on. Technical difficulties.
Oh, it's been the day for them. So the track operator graciously gave you a little bit more time involuntarily. So you do have a little tiny bit more time now.
That's my back tires.
That's like the front of the Flintstones car. That's the meat.
It's a 31/16 5 tire that's going to go on it. And no, I'm not tubbing it. No, I'm not mini tubbing it.
Okay.
It's good. They're going to be hanging out.
How high are you going to get the back end to clear that?
The back end with that rear end that I pulled out of it's got factory springs and a set of helper springs on it.
Yeah.
It's up high enough.
Okay.
I've got that much room.
Okay.
Man, I'm going to be following this build. This is interesting.
Yes, it is. Well, I'm following. I'm telling
I had to clearance the front of the wheel well a little bit. Oh, that's the wrong.
Okay.
Pair. Anyway,
I've been
I had
sharing.
to clearance the front of the
videos.
wheel well a little bit.
Okay.
You
But it was rusty
front.
there anyway, so I just cut out some rust and moved some stuff over. I'm gonna weld some shit in, and it's gonna go.
My Dart Sport's been clearanced about an inch to clear a 30x9. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big tire, man. That's
So this was
tire.
and this is a 31, so I had to clearance, a couple inches.
So right now we've got Dust Devil Garage, Bear Rose Garage, Big Mike's Hoopty Barn. They're all in the competing for the Cinderella Award. And I like to say, I'm just pulling for all of them. Look for them all to get there.
Yeah.
I'm hoping our friend, Unfinished Project, who pretends to be, he's sort of anonymous, he's sort of not. He's yeah, we're hoping Unfinished Project will throw his hat in the ring. He put out a video today. He's got a cool old Dodge. It looks like about an 8345, something like that. It's a step side.
Unfinished Project's got a channel?
He does. He lurks in the background. He's sort of anonymous, right? But anyway, he's hanging out, and I'm really hoping he throws his hat in the ring. He's actually a really smart guy, but he so rarely ever posts like texts that you don't know that. He kind of
all he does is throw up the names of cars.
He does, but whenever
I like it.
But when he makes a post like telling us something like dialogue, he's very intelligent. But he's so rarely.
You know what? When I jumped in here, Unfinished Project put up Knuckle Duster, and I'm like, yes, right. I made it.
There you go. You made it. It'll be playing.
If Unfinished Project puts the name of your car up there.
Knuckle Duster, right?
I do like the name of the project. I think that's awesome.
I would love for him to jump into this thing. We'd love to meet him. It'd be really cool. So we'll see.
Definitely. Brian, do you have anybody that is going to this event that you want to call out? Or is it an open call out to whoever wants a piece of the Knuckle Duster?
Well, right now I have a call out that's out, but we're not discussing it. But I also, from John Wilburn's event, I put a call out to anybody who's building a car from where I'm at. We'll run. I'll run you. And if you want to do it for some money, I'll run you for some money, because I know what I'm going to go through, and I know what that person is going to go through. So, we're going to try. We're going to try to get as much track time as we can.
All right, let's put some ground rules on this, because this is interesting stuff. I love this. Okay, so it's got to be somebody else in the Cinderella class, right? It's got to be somebody else who needs subscribers. And it's also got to be let's see, on the car, let's say it's got to be, clearly can't have an engine. So what are we talking about? It's got to be a car that has no installed drivetrain.
Yeah.
Okay, so no installed drivetrain, and they need to get the subscribers.
Yep.
And that's who you want to do a call out with, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Drivetrain, and they need to get
Tall John in the house.
Yep. What up? Drivetrain, and they need to get kill your YouTube browser, Tall John.
YouTube off, and then I gotta adjust the volume on your mic as soon as we get that. Kill that browser, and we'll get you on in a second. So let's go back.
Every time.
I go right to StreamYard, and I haven't had that problem yet. I know it's coming. I know one of these days
You're going to do it eventually.
Oh yeah. Everybody does it. Everybody does.
There we go.
Because like you said, most of these things I do straight from StreamYard. I just Bear Rose Garage. I want to have you on one of my live streams.
That's a cool cat.
Some subs.
He's a cool cat. I like him.
Subs. I really like, and the fact that you said my channel name twice in that one video of yours. Yeah, you're welcome to come on any of my lives anytime. Hit me up on Facebook.
We are working on how we're going to do this. We don't know exactly, but Bear Rose Garage has given Dallas and I authority to come up with a way to give away his 72 Ranchero. And he's willing to bring it there. And we got to figure out some cool way to get that in the hands of someone who will build it. So we got to figure that out. Again, it's one of those details, but Barrow's Garage is wanting to do it, and we love it.
Preferably someone who wants to start a YouTube channel with that project.
Yeah, they do, but we're talking about angles to make this work that it gets in the most deserving hands, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, but we'll talk about it. We'll have a little powwow about it, figure it out. But I'm thrilled to support. I had another channel reach out to me, a good sized channel. Again, if they're not registered yet, I'm respecting their privacy if they're still working back channels and whatnot. But I had a good sized channel reach out to me and said, "Hey man, our channel, we like to pull cars out of the woods and do stuff, and we'd like to build one and give it away there." So we've got at least one and maybe another car so far that people want to give away at the event.
Well, here we go. As far as Barrow's Garage, like say he gives that car away to somebody, if you need a place to store it until they can come get it, they can store it at my shop.
That's interesting. Yeah, because
I'm only 2.5 hours away. So
yeah,
and he's probably going to be coming through this way because where's he at?
Idaho.
Yeah, he'll probably be coming through St. Louis. So yeah, if you give his car away and somebody can't, because I doubt people are going to show up with a trailer.
Barrow's Garage, you'll show up with the back of a Greyhound bus. Tyler John resembles that remark.
But yeah, you can store it here. And the person can come get it. And I'm willing to help out with anything like that. That's a great idea.
I gotta say, Dust Devil Garage Brian here was definitely one of my very first and most enthusiastic supporters for this whole event.
Sure.
And big thanks to him, because you got to have people that hit the ground running and are just all behind it, and he has been ever since and still is, and I really do appreciate that.
Yeah, that's that car, man, that project. As soon as I heard, because I saw some of your videos, Brian, all I saw was Road to Sikeston, and that was before I knew that the event was going to be in Sikeston. And I was like, what's he talking about, Road to Sikeston? And then I started doing a little digging, and I was like, oh, here we go. And then John and I connected and got him on the show. But when I found out the whole premise of what the Road to Sikeston was going to entail, I was like, man, he's crazy. I thought you were crazy with doing the long lives, dude, but you're insane. So that's fine.
Well, see, that's a good thing. I'm used to doing the long lives. So when I start getting more parts in and stuff and really start humping on this thing, I'm getting the stuff done that I can get done right now. But whenever I do that, hell, I'm sitting here right now. I can fire up a live and have all my friends in there with me, and I can work.
When it's all said and done, would you be interested in disclosing how much you spent to go from that to a car that can get down from A to B? I love that entire concept.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting.
Well, that's part of the stuff that I do on my channel too, though. It's like, you don't have to burn down, your bank account to build one of these cars.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff, you gotta do some legwork, but like a lot of the stuff I'm gonna buy for this car is gonna come from swap meets.
Sure.
And from friends. Tall John said he'd give me a distributor.
Isn't that cool?
I've got a viewer on my channel that's willing to give me a whole nother Duster that he bought some property, and that Duster was sitting there. I'm like, well, hell yeah, I'll go out and pick up the free car.
I absolutely love how the YouTube community has come together to help each other make this event. It's just wonderful. And by the way, Brian, I saw the cam that you bought for it from another YouTuber.
No. I'm not going with that cam. I'm going with something bigger.
All right.
I'm going with something bigger.
All right. It's a small world, but it's really wonderful to watch these people support each other to make it there. And I have a feeling that come closer to D-Day, somebody's going to be in a pinch, and we're going to see a bunch of other fellow YouTubers rush to the rescue to make sure everybody can be there, everybody can participate.
Yeah. I think Brian's going to start a trend for this event moving forward, where people are like, you know what, let's do what he did, get a car and build it from the ground up and just see, send it, see what happens.
I'm all for it. Now, I will tell you this. The first, I think probably a more natural cutoff for this on subscriber count is probably 1,000. because 1,000 is where you're a YouTube partner. 1,000 is where they'll let you use, the @ symbol to tag channels. 1,000 is where you're monetized, that kind of stuff. We made the bar at 500. 500 is where you get a community tab. That's where YouTube says you can post on their bulletin board, right? Don't be surprised if next year that threshold changes.
Well, I'm actually, I'm at 300. I'm 301 now.
You'll get it.
I'm actually hoping to hit 1,000 before the event, because I'm going to start putting out more content. I got my camera set up behind me right now with me welding these floors. That's a video. It's going to probably come out in the next couple of days.
That's a big deal. But here's the thing. The only reason we want to set this bar is because, I asked a fellow YouTuber, I said, would you pay to see a field of content creators who have not invested enough in their channels to even get a couple hundred subs? He said, no, I'd pay not to. So we have to put on a good show for the spectators. We want people who have built followings. And here's the thing. We made it a very reasonable number. So anybody who says, hey, my New Year's resolution, I've got these goals, this is a time frame, they're going to do it. But we may change it for next year. So don't take anything for granted. Work hard, get your subs, and we'll help you.
Anybody out there that is having some doubts about the number of subscribers they have in participating in this event, to do my part, you can come on this show and we'll promote your channel as much as we can, get you a couple extra subscribers and stuff. And because I want people to get on there and get their channels blown up. If you want to participate in the event, a shortage of subscribers shouldn't be what stops you. And I'll do my part. I'll help out Brian, obviously, John, and
we appreciate that.
That's it's a cool. The whole premise of the event is cool. Like I said, I can't stress enough how this blue collar stuff is what I really like. I'm gonna have to talk to Brian and see how much I have to fork out to get him to run a "No Mopar Left Behind" sticker on that car. That's the epitome of "No Mopar Left Behind."
Actually, yeah, this thing was sitting in a guy's field and he was going to scrap it.
Shit, man,
nice.
Literally no Mopar Left Behind.
This car would have gotten scrapped.
Wow. I'm glad for that. I'm glad for that.
Definitely saved.
I'm glad too, because I got to pay just a little over scrap price for it originally.
Good. You got a deal on that. That's a good car.
How bad was it when you got it?
Actually, I've done some body work to the roof. I've had to do some body work to the roof because I think somebody sat on it a long time ago. But really, it wasn't that bad of a car. Like I said, somebody was going to cut the floors out of it. They were doing something with it. It's original 6-cylinder car, but it has a V8 K-frame in it because I've already mocked up a block in there. It drops right in, so it's got a V8 K-frame.
That's awesome, man. Gosh, yeah, you got a hell of a deal, especially in this market right now. Damn. Bear Rose.
And hello, Scott Schmidt.
What's
I
up,
see
Scott?
a lot of new names I don't recognize. I recognize a lot of the YouTubers, but the Facebook folks I don't recognize. So I'm glad to get to meet you guys. And if you guys make a progress on your car, see, right now it's not so overwhelming that I can't keep up. But as we have more and more people join this thing, if you make progress on your build, tag me on it so that I know that you've done that and I can share it. Like right now, and I've said this earlier, and I'll go ahead and repeat it for folks getting here now. My channel is kind of serving as the news feed for the No Name Nationals. So if you make some progress on one of your builds, put at John Wilburn and it'll tell me that you've tagged me in it, and I can share that video on my channel so that others can see and others can go to you and others can subscribe. And that's how we get in this all together and get each other subscribers. In fact, talk about getting subscribers. Tall John's Fun Shop. He was, what were you, around 940 something, 950? Some of our YouTube friends had a benefit live for him to get him up over 1,000. So
that's awesome.
This happens. This works. And I'm pretty sure that when Brinker's knocking on the door of 500, they're going to do something for him, some kind of party on YouTube to push him over the top.
You know what I was thinking about, and I guess I'll announce it here. I was actually thinking about picking up 2 extra tickets to the event. And when I hit 500, I'm going to have a live and everybody in that live, I'm going to go through and we're going to pick a winner and get 2 tickets to this event.
Cool.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, this event's going to be a lot of fun. Brian, I'm definitely going to be following that build, dude. I'm rooting for you. I can't wait. That's going to be a huge victory, man. I can't imagine what it's going to feel like when you cross that line.
You know what you need to do, Chris? Here's what you need to do. You're going to the event, right?
I'm going to do my best to make it, yes.
Okay, if you go to the event, come into St. Louis, fly into St. Louis, you can ride down with me to the event.
All right. Done deal. The knuckle duster, dude. Yeah.
Hey, ask Tall John. Tall John's got a pretty cool thing that he wants to do at the event already, too.
Tall John, what do you got planned?
I don't know. What do I got planned?
Well, you know, Tall John has he may have the biggest vehicle event.
Oh, really?
We got a tour bus we might bring down there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and if John lets me, we might just see what it'll do in the 8th mile.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Is there room in the?
It makes a sharp turn. It's made to drive, so it'll make a tight turn.
No, but is there room between the beams and the water box?
Well, it doesn't matter.
As heavy as that is, you think it's going to smoke the tires?
Well,
If Tall John built it, it will.
It's got over 1,200 foot-pounds of torque. It might do it.
If you got a bus to do a burnout, you know how incredibly cool that would be.
Man,
yeah, I don't know. That I'd be afraid to break something. Too expensive.
Yeah, right. You don't want
Those are a little bit expensive.
Yeah, it just depends on whether it's out doing something or not. And if it's not, it's coming down.
Cool.
Coming out,
That's so
coming
cool.
whatever. So
That's
we'll
so
bring
cool.
it, and there'll be plenty of room and plenty of food and plenty of whatever if we get down there with that.
awesome, man. I'm expecting this event to be more of a party than anything. Just everybody having a great time, meeting each other, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited. Brian, definitely keep me posted on your project. When's the next live you're going to do?
I was thinking about doing one tomorrow, but
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Everybody's doing with this event going on. Everybody's popping up lives everywhere. It's hard to find a place to get in,
Yeah.
because I don't want to walk on anybody,
So you can walk on me all you want. Because guess what? You're going to go 9 hours. I'm going to go a couple.
Brian, for what it's worth, if people are doing lives to discuss this No Name Nationals, I'm happy to share them and plug them or whatever to help. I really
Well, you know how I like to do the lives anyway. That was my plan. I was going to do a YouTube short, a video, and a live every week, all the way up until it's done. And now you added at least a week on or a month onto that or something. I don't know.
Awesome.
I believe about 38 weeks. Are we 37, 38 weeks? Something like that. Something pretty close.
You just gave me a chance to make my car faster. That's all.
So the 222 days is where we're at.
No, we've tacked on about 35 more. The new date is tomorrow, and we're going to have a live at 3 p.m. Eastern on my channel with Dallas Brown, and we're going to discuss the date change and why it had to, and we'll just address it there. But we had of all the options, we took the best one under the circumstance, and we have had to move the date. We're moving it back just a little bit. We're moving it back a few weeks. Dallas and I will discuss, but the event is on. It is a go.
Okay. I got to check the calendar and make sure I'm good for that, but I'm reasonably sure we'll figure it out.
Before we get out of here, because I got to put my kid to bed here in a minute, but I saw this question. I thought it would be fun for John to answer. Is there any truth to the rumor you are hosting a square dancing contest that Dallas can be judging alongside the mini bike racing?
This is the first I've heard of it, but I'm not going to say it's not true. Anything's possible. We're going to have a lot of fun there.
Hey, Mopar Den don't talk out of turn. He knows something's going on. He knows.
Yeah.
It's funny coming from Mopar Den. Now people will really believe that because he's a very straight laced character.
People showed up in square dancing outfits like, "Hey, we're ready to go." Are you going to make a Facebook page for the event?
You know what? I'm not a Facebook guy, but Dallas is going to give a Facebook presence together. That's Dallas's bailiwick. So,
because I was thinking it'd be a good idea to like post up who's going to be there.
Yeah, and we're going to continue to do that. We're gonna have videos regularly announcing new registrations. You're gonna be sharing all the videos from the other channels. Yeah, so the entrant list right now is really good, and it continues to grow. I probably, when I check my email, I will probably have new registrations waiting for me. The response is pretty incredible, and it's amazing because I have the registration site paused for 24 to 48 hours waiting on this. And people are still registering because they had browser tabs open from before. It's amazing how many people are doing this. I wasn't prepared for the rush of.
This is going to be kind of a big deal, I think.
Yeah, it really is. I love the response. It's been wonderful, and even better than that. I mean, we like it promoting events. We as much as we like that. What's even better is watching this community come together. That's even better.
Sure.
I mean, it's to look at the excitement on David Vizard's face. I mean, there is.
That's somebody I can't wait to meet. Oh, I can't wait to meet him.
David Vizard has a Winston Cup car. Like a 700 some horsepower W9 headed small block Mopar Intrepid Cup car, and
cool.
There's a chance he'll be bringing that and entering that. So, I mean, the stuff that people have told me they're going to do and they're working on, they're just waiting on getting it together to release it, make their videos is incredible. If I had to close registration this minute, I could have a great event with who we already have. So this thing just continues to grow, and it's just cooler and cooler and cooler.
Awesome. On that note, John, where does everybody have to go to sign up for this event and get registered?
We will have the registration page open no later than right after our live at 3 p.m. tomorrow. The place to go is nonamenationals.com. And if you want to keep up with any news feed, go to my channel, just John Wilburn. You type in my name. I always come up first on YouTube with that name, and you can keep up with any news. I like to share as many as I see. I share videos from people who are working toward this, and some of the bigger channels, because they make more content, they have a queue of editing and so forth. They're taking a little longer to get their announcement videos out. Some of them already have, some of them are in the works. But as those come together, I'm sharing them there. So nonamenationals.com to register. And you can go to my channel for any news. And, of course, on the flyer, which is at nonamenationals.com, it's got contact info, so you can contact Dallas or I with any questions.
Perfect. And make sure, Dallas, if you're listening to this, definitely when you get the event set up on Facebook, send it to me so I can get it shared. That's definitely something I'd like to do. And then, John, any updates for the event or anything? You're obviously open door policy. You're more than welcome to come back on and discuss those. Because I want this event to be successful for the community. This is something that I want to see more builds like what Brian's doing. No Mopar left behind. Let's get him out of. Let's bring him back from the dead and run him down the track. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, right? Speaking of which, Brian, why don't you go ahead and plug your project and your channel so we can get you up to. Screw 500 subscribers. Let's get you up to that 4-digit. That 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah, it's Dust Devil Garage, working on the knuckle duster, building it from scratch, building it from a shell.
From a shell to go down the 8th mile at the No Name Nationals. Awesome project. Tall John, you just been hanging out in the background, man. Let's. I like that. Is that a golden microphone that I see? How did I not see the golden microphone?
It's golden.
Good Lord,
yeah,
man!
It's worth a ton of money.
Tall John's got all the bling.
Man, I need to get one of those fancy ones so I can sit here.
That's where you don't see my teeth.
Shine it up. Make sure you go subscribe to Tall John too. He's a guy that I need to talk more to. Everybody tells me that you are an encyclopedia. You are a lot of people sing your praises, Tall John. So I gotta dig into that brain of yours and figure out what I can learn.
All right, I appreciate that. That's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna go ahead and shut her down right now. I appreciate all of you guys for coming on. Once again, the No Name Nationals. Tune into John's channel tomorrow where we can find out the concrete date, and we can start planning and hopefully get all you guys watching and listening registered for this event, and get those YouTube channels going and get up to 500 subscribers. Anybody that's starting from scratch with that, if you want to come on my show and tell me all about your project and your new YouTube channel, by all means, open door policy. All right.
One last thing, creators, make your videos. Make sure to tag No Name Nationals when you make your announcement video you're participating. And viewers, if there's a creator who has not yet declared, ask them what they're going to do in Sikeston.
10-4.
Now,
and on that,
let me just say one quick thing, Chris.
Go for it.
I have met you. Excuse me. I met you recently, and I've been really trying to catch up on your podcasts on YouTube. I don't have Facebook.
Okay.
And your shows are great. So anybody that likes to hear Mopar talk, get on to Talking Mopars, because these shows are great. Great voice, great content, incredible. Yeah. I listen to them in my car. I Bluetooth it off my phone to the car, and I'm enjoying the heck out of them. So, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
It's incredible. It's great. The stories are great. It's just fun to listen to.
Definitely. And we're gonna get you on an episode. I know you got some stories. So
oh yeah.
We're gonna mine all those stories out of Tall John. We're gonna hear them all.
All right. Well, and do Dust Devil Garage too. You gotta love the guy.
Absolutely. Yeah, I gotta get Brian on. I gotta pick his brain, because there's a lot about Brian that, I mean, we're friends, but I know that he's got a whole history with Mopars. I love digging in. I didn't even get to dig into John's history with Mopars. So John, you're gonna definitely have to come back. I gotta dig in a little bit more, because that's, you know, aside from the cars, you know, the funny premise of Talking Mopars was originally calling it Talking Mopars because obviously the cars can't talk, so the owners can tell the cars stories, and that's one of my favorite parts about the show, is hearing how you got into Mopars, what Mopars you got, all that fun stuff. So we're gonna have to get episodes with all three of you guys individually and dig in. Okay, does that sound good?
Sounds like fun.
On that note, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. And we'll see you next time right here on Talking Mopars. Remember, no Mopar left behind. And tell your friends about the show. We'll see you guys later.